Let's try to put that together again. All right. Okay, let's unpack this a little bit, and then after we share it for a little bit, I want to show you a little video clip, and we'll have a couple more thoughts, and we'll have some time around the table, then we'll process a little bit. How about that? Good. Sounds good. Hey, I can say it. There you go. So let's do this. Let's just a little bit. Just what comes to your mind when you guys think about what is it that gives so much power? Where does the power and the appeal of a lie really come from? You think about that. Is anything kind of surface for you? Anybody? Yeah, thanks, Anthony.
For me, it's like I get power in being able to spin, shape, manipulate, or work.
Say that again. Won't realize we get the
bend, shape.
You get a chance to bend, shape, or warp
Something to my business. That's where I get the power from. And it could be something big or small. It's like the power comes from being able to be able to exact my will and my understanding of the law. It gives me power in that. Feel the chance to work.
Just so you guys, I want to read, say, just pause. I've got this on there. We do in this room. We didn't know about this. Next week, all the electronics. So you guys came here tonight and put it back online. Work to be online or down there. After we turn that off, we'll just go the way we're going.
Let's try a little more.
What's that?
Let's try a little more and see what happens.
Is anybody pacemaker on right now? That's really because if it is, there's no guarantee what could happen if that thing goes off. Like short shaker, your pacemaker, that would be really bad. But is there anybody here, Dave, that we know that could?
I think I might have got it.
You might have got it. It's taking a raise right there. You're saying in a lie, the appeal is if you choose to bend, to twist, or to warp. or something, situation to your benefit. So it allows you to do some things. I'm gonna push that, but I just want to, you're not anxious now, but is there something that is going on besides what you're doing? Is there a reason behind what you're doing? Then the twist, the war or something. Don't answer that, think about that, right? Anybody else? Anybody else? And appeal. What is it about life? It's a power appeal. It makes it so much so strong. Yeah, thank you.
I feel it gets with great. A lot of times you lie to be part of whatever the lie been told, you know,
Okay.
you agree.
So it gives you favor. That's good. And so when you want favor, I'm playing this out real time, there's probably something else going on in you that needs favor, right? Like the favor is what you're getting. But there's something else driving this need for favor. Talk about that. Yeah.
I felt worthy, more worthy to others. Like at a young age, I felt less than, and I wanted to be somebody because I felt like being adopted in my parents, like I said, giving me away. I felt less than like I was in trash. So when I got to a certain age, I was an achiever in sports, or I was a self-achiever, but I always needed that extra pat on my back to make me grow stronger. And I wanted everyone else's, I wanted everybody to stamp approval, like, yeah, you're doing good, you're doing great, you make me feel better.
Yeah. So you grew up in an environment that made you feel less. Yeah. So you're not, either way, you felt like you had to struggle. You feel a sense of worthiness.
Right, I wanted everybody to approve of me being somebody good, whatever it was. And sometimes I would stress people, I would lie. They'd be like, oh, you're a great player. Yeah, but I work out all the time, or I do this, I do that, and third, being extra, just so it's like, okay, good job.
If you could a little bit more information. A little bit more. Did you guys hear all that?
We've been watching when we turn on that video, start feedback through the system. Okay, so I was gonna turn the mic off here.
Pull back the door, didn't really there.
Mel's
Yeah.
hearing right
Yeah.
now.
How about maybe one more?
Gotcha.
It's really good. Yeah, John, we over there?
How hard to lie so often is to avoid conflict.
Okay. We want to avoid conflict. So we don't want any of that. And so I'm not going to tell the truth. I want you to know I had a guy call me tonight before I was here. And as soon as I said hello, he instantly told me something he did. And then he said, as soon as my wife gets home, I have to tell her. And in my head, I'm going, are you sure you want to do that tonight? And I even said, you think you ought to wait a little bit. He goes, nope, I have the courage to do it now. I got to do it now. Because if I don't do it now, I think I'll find a way to lie and not do it.
Looks like you can hear it, doesn't
Pretty powerful, right? Let me tell you this.
it? Or noise.
You think there's something that was human driving disability? No, all kinds of, here's what I'm trying to get at. I really believe this. You think about this. I think the appeal and the power of a lie is that it plays ultimately to something that we desire and we want, or even that we love. So think about Charles, what you did, you didn't want to be known as a liar when you got found out, though, right? That wasn't your desire. But you were willing to lie because you desire to feel more valuable. You're willing to take the risk. Like even when you don't want conflict, I'm going to lie, but you still have a desire for no conflict. In fact, you desire this more, so that you're even willing to do something crazy to not kick them. And the problem is that if you lie, you're going to get a whale of a lot of that. You're going to get more of that than you want. You can get favor. Favor isn't something that you have to want. You desire it. You love it. And I would dare say that if the buckets of significance and security and belonging in our lives are running low, we are much more liable to be taken in by lies and or lying ourselves to get that thing back. And here's what I want us to talk about tonight. We're going to look at this passage, Genesis 3. I want to show you the clip. But this is very, very important. One of the things I think in the believing community we've done, because we are really behavior heavy. You know what I mean by that? I'm going to try the iceberg again, just for the guys who don't know it, which I'm sure there's got to be at least 4 or 5 of you in this room. This is going to come back maybe again next week. And you guys say, why do you do this? Here's why we do this. Because I don't know better illustration personally. It gets at some of the stuff that's real. And I've had guys even send me texts and go, Goody, I was at this leadership meeting this week. You wouldn't believe it. They talked about the iceberg. I go, really? They go, yeah. They used a little different format, but it's still the same concept. I go, I know you like it plates and everything. But here's my point. You know, iceberg, you guys will you only see 10 to 15%. How much attention, though, does that 10 to 15% typically get? Like 85%. Focus a lot on what we see. Believing community is the same way. Man, we're really into people like you, getting it right, walking straight, not doing bad things, being the right kind of people. I don't know how many people feel really insignificant and trying to do the right thing, feel like they don't get it right. And I've often said to people, hey, you know, if in fact you are a follower of Jesus, and you have a friend that isn't, why don't you do this and tell them this? Hey, if you decide to follow Jesus, in 2 years, you're going to feel as bad about yourself as I do. I feel way more guilty now than I ever did. Because now I just feel like all I do is get it wrong. And my wrongs feel way worse than they did before. So now I know God now. I'm told that He loves me. And now when I screw up, I feel way worse than I know. In fact, now I'm seeing things about myself that I never knew before that God's uncovered. And it's like really messing me up. And I feel like God's looking down at me going like, man, you are a lame excuse for a human being. Nothing is further from the reality of what it means to another person, Jesus. Here's what I'm saying to you. We get driven by all of here, all our behavior stuff, all our behavior. And what we're uncomfortable with is this thing of our heart is actually meant to love someone. 85%, if you get this right, Jesus said, when you love the right thing here, the love of God, and you understand the love of God, it's amazing how this begins to take care of this. Right? This thing's messed up, this is messed up, but guess what lives in here? You put it on his desire. It's a lot of things. In Genesis 1:27, 1:26, it said this. In the image of God, He made them. So God created man in His own image, and in the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. Now, we talk about this vision of imageness. It's a big word. I mean, you talk about a lot of different things. But one of the things it speaks to, what do you think it speaks to? About being made in the image of God. Any ideas? I'll give you a little bit. We existed, but there was a time when we didn't. So what had to happen in the mind and heart of God between when we didn't exist and when we actually we wanted?
I'll take it one step further. It said that He desired to create them.
Why did he? You should hear the word he said. He desired, and why did He desire that? Like God desired it. I think you're right. Do you ever think like that? God desired anything? I think if you read scriptures, yeah.
God already had angels that worship Him all over one day, so thought that we wanted beings that were able to join with Him out of free will and make a choice.
Yeah.
Out of relationship.
Correct. And so this vision of this longing, you know, a lot of times we're afraid of this in the believing community, though, because here's what we're afraid of. Man, you get this desire thing on, this thing can get you in a lot of trouble. Is that true? Yeah. It really can. It really can. And you go, oh yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. But here's the deal, like, does it exist?
Yeah.
You think it's going away?
No.
Listen to us talking. So I got this thing in me, it isn't going away, it can get me in trouble, unless. You understand where it came from, what it's given to me for, and how to redirect things that I have and what's been given to me for, so I can enjoy things the way they were actually meant to be created. Here's what I'm telling you guys, this reality of desire is going to be a great source of joy or a great source of pain and disillusionment, but it is here to stay. Here to stay, not going away. The scriptures even go as far as to say this, that everything that was created was actually made through and for Jesus Christ. And this is why when one person opens their heart to God, they'll never feel more at home. They will never be more what it means to be fully human than when you actually lean into the fact that you are desired, and therefore we desire who desires us. That we learn to desire who desire us, and then he begins to help us order a lot of this other stuff. But what we do as believers, we're just like, oh man, be afraid of your sexual desire, because that gets you in a whole lot of trouble. So then we just kind of shut down kids, and we have a whole generation of young kids that we have growing up, that nobody really ever talks to them about this stuff very well. Nobody ever frames it very well. And they're supposed to do all the right things until they get to a certain age and get married, and then the cat's out of the bag and everything's going to be great. Nice try. We got all kinds of stuff running around here. And again, the goal is to shut it down, is to move it in the right direction. Here's the problem. Our desire through our thinking and our decision making for us, detached from God's creational intent. What do you think comes of that? Any ideas? Disillusion. Disillusion, chaos, pain, heartache. This is what the fall was really about. Our desires. Get this. Think about this. You have these desires that innately are good in and of themselves. Sexual desire is not bad. Bad sexual desire is crazy. Desire for food is not bad. Overeating can get you into a lot of trouble. Desire, we can just go on and on and on. We can just name stuff, right? These are things where things kind of get off the rails and can just go crazy. But we forget this, but when we allow our desires to do our decision making for us, tell me how that's worked out in our life. Huh? Not too good. It's almost like we take this amazing gift. It's I think the heartbeat of our imageness. That we were created to want the most, who wants us the most. And yet we give it away to the wrong thing, as we'll see in a second. And that begins to play in our thinking. And we begin to do some crazy thinking where we can literally consume things in a way we would never imagine. Does that make sense to you? So let me put up another phrase to you before we look at some scripture real quick. We put up that next little slide there about main wise or ideas. Wise are ideas that play to our desires wrongly. When somebody lied, you think anybody's ever lied to you because they knew what you kind of wanted? Or you knew that maybe somebody you were close to wanted to feel a certain amount of trust with you or feel safe or whatever, and so you gave them what they wanted except the truth. See, lies at their bottom line. I already say, what is a lie? It's makes sense to you that there are what? Ideas or thoughts or mindsets that play to our desires because desires are so powerful, but they play to them wrongly. And embedded within that idea or lie is that what? God can't be trusted. Some people aren't just always just fully aware to actually fulfill my desires and my wants. So I'm going to have to take things in mind. Some level, I'm going to have to do this thing in life, and we'll see this in just a minute with a philosopher who's greatly impacted our culture more than we know. And so if this is true, let's take a look at Genesis chapter 3 for a moment. And I want to take a look at what I call the big three. What do you think about desiring it? It's powerful, right? It's a good thing. So if it's a good thing, speaks to our very innate imageness, what do you think the evil one is going to probably mess around with to get to us? Any idea? Anything you might want to confuse? What realm might be playing in? Realm of our what?
Desire.
Desire. Thank you very much. Any other comments on this? It just makes sense to you guys. Clarification? All right. Genesis chapter 3. Let's just read this. Now the serpent was more crafty. Remember we said last week that word originally, a wolf, was a positive word, but in this case, the evil one took something that was positive, meaning shrewdness. He was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? No, that was exactly the opposite of what God said. The woman said to the serpent, when you eat from the fruit of the tree in the garden, for God did say you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, for when you eat of it, or you must not touch it, or you will die. It was surely not God, the serpent said to the woman. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. You hear desiring circles in there all? Get this. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also, anybody, what's the next word there in your Bible? Desirable to gaining wisdom, she took some and she ate it. She gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it as well. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they realized they were naked, so they sewed fig leaves together and covered for themselves. And we keep going on these stories, just amazing. But let me ask you this: when you read this, what do you see that people want to appeal to? Just anybody just read. Anybody? What yeah, thank you.
Like God.
Excuse me? To be like God. To be like God? Okay, that's a desire, right? Okay, you're gonna write that. Okay. Yeah. Well, what else do you see it playing with? Think about this. Just see the process here. But he knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be open to be like, you'll just be like I want good for people. And the woman, what? She began to wonder if I eat. It's getting kind of raw at this point. But what else can you apply to?
I guess to sum it up in one word, he's appealing to our ignorance.
Say that again here?
He's appealing to our ignorance.
Certainly, really good. So there is a level of these desires of which we're ignorant of, right? And God doesn't want us to be knowledgeable of certain things, right? So somehow there's this lure of making us want something we were never meant to create, we created to know. And there's no like, don't open that door. Alex, don't open the door. Like, open all of this. Like, don't open that door. I'm telling you, behind that door is crazy. Now you have a decision to make. There's something in you that kind of wants to know what the heck's going on. Right? There's something in there, and even that's a kind of an image. This is independence. It's not about the question comes down to what? Will you trust? Not only obey me, will you trust me? Trust the word alone. Fidelity. Do you believe that all that you can see is enough to trust me with what you can't see?
You know, God, I mean, for his knowledge, he gave us knowledge.
Yeah.
But we were told a lie to make like God. He turned around as if God didn't tell us the truth about something because he told us not to, right? And then it was told that why you need to pay, look how pretty it is, you know, why this would be paid, you know, and it was like the reverse psychology.
And here's what he does with that too, by that thing. For the sake of time, I want you to hear 1 John 2, 15, 17. Jesus said this. John says, do not love the world. That's kind of a little preview of the winter. Do not love the world or the things of the world. For all that is in the world, get this. Tell me if you don't hear this here. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not from the Father of the world. And the world and its lusts are passing away. So tell me if you don't see in this, the big three for me, in this word lust is an interesting word. When you guys think of lust, what do you typically think of? You think of what? Something sexual, right? This word plays in a lot of numbers. You can lust for money, you can lust for approval, you can lust sexually, you can lust for somebody else that you don't have. Lust in its core simply means that sex is an inordinate desire. It's just strong desire, misdirected and unbound. And basically, it's relying on self-centered use. Self-centered use. So it's strong desire gone awry. So here's what, you can tell how many they know, but that with every bit of this conversation, you plunge into this. And if you look at even Jesus' temptation with the eye, you'll see the big three here. And I said, she saw that the food was good for food. I'm going to say that's a lust of the flesh. Do you guys agree with that? To feel into her flesh. It's not that the three men ain't bad, but there's a sense that these bodily appetites, all of a sudden, it's like, man, like God said that, but it's good for something that it's kind of like your yearning takes over. And it's kind of a wear down. Then it says, and that she saw that the tree was what? What was it she saw? What did she see? Yep, it's good for food. So you got this lust for the eyes, right? It's pleasing to the eyes. It's sort of like, oh my gosh, it's kind of so beautiful. God made it. I'm sure it is. You kind of got to have it. And so you have this sense of the lust of the eyes being played in here. And then finally, what's it going to make her? They think it's going to make them powerful, right? They're going to be like who? God. You have a sense of pride in your country. And these things play. Everyone, they're trying to be more than what they were actually created to be. So when you think about this, with each bit of faith, this is something crazy begins to erode reality. This craziness begins to erode reality. And I think if we often think of this, that somehow if I ignore and disobey God, the crazy becomes sensible. The crazy can actually become sensible. Somehow, ignoring or disobeying God for them became the sensible thing to do. I talk to people. I'm like, can you hear yourself right now? Can you hear what you're saying right now? This is as old as man. Right now, you have talked yourself into the craziest situation where something that is crazy, has no good outcome, and is destructive. You were trying to make sense out of this and trying to make it sensible enough for you to do it. This is why I said to you guys before this thing I read years ago, where it said you not only have to want what you want, you also have to want what your wants lead to. It's a great sensibility. It's like, man, I know I have to want what I want. Like, I want that right now. Okay, great. But you also need to know this. If you want that, and you play with that, you also better want what that action is going to lead to. Because it's going somewhere. It is never neutral. Okay?
Does it show anywhere in scripture where having need for action work?
I think it's how you describe that, but I think they were as they walked the garden with God. We have a sense of daily, ongoing relationship.
Yes.
I think as they tilled the garden, I think that's worshipful work. Honestly, I don't think work is a small thing. If these two didn't think we were called to work or work, I think here's where work became part of the law. Now you have to toil, sweat your brow. You don't like everybody at work. They don't all like you. But work is an honor. A good day of work is God honored. So I think I wasn't going to worship or anything. Whatever you do, put your whole heart into it. So, yeah.
I just say that because of the fact that when Satan would introduce our lack of knowledge of who God is, if they have that form of worship on a weekly basis to prove to honor God, not only in the
Well, maybe one day we can ask them, but I will say this. They're in a place that looks pretty good. from what we can tell. It's pretty full. It's rich and beautiful. I would say this Adam's description of what God brought in Eve, she looked a whole lot different than both animals, I can tell you that. And he was pretty jazzed up about that. There's only one person he knew brought that in. So I think God had said, I don't think they didn't have enough knowledge when they're getting off the hook on this. I don't think I said, man, if I had just given you a little more information, man, you would have done that. I think, again, here's what I want to show you a clip. When the absurd becomes sensible, we're on shaky ground. When you allow, get up here and you know, oh yeah, and you just feel yourself being, oh yeah, I know, God said, I know, but man, it looks, it's like it just, it feels, it touches, it tastes, and guess what? I'm gonna need something. I think that's Lord arson. Like that, playing with that is gonna lead someplace that's not good. You're gonna take a good thing and it's gonna go public crazy. Crazy. I want to play you a little clip from the movie To Help, and it's an intriguing movie where these white, really wealthy people would have these African Americans take care of their homes and stuff. And there's one particular white woman which is very arrogant and treated her, this woman that was her caretaker, really horrible. But the one thing that this maid did to help was when she made pots. And I want you just to have a sense of this because it's a prime example. Just one, okay? Do we have it here? No.
Just hit the play button over there. Right here. Yeah.
One word there. Turn it up, that. Okay, well, let me do this for the sake of time. I don't want you guys asking, I don't want to spend the time. Let me, that's your caretaker, Teresa Ford. It makes it taste so good. Two pieces. Obviously, if you could put it, it would have been a little more impactful, but here's what I want you guys to see about this. Would anybody in their right mind do that? I'm not saying that, I mean, eat that, but anybody in their right mind?
No.
Of course. Now, why do you think she did? She didn't know what was in there, all right? But keep going, that's not the simplest thing. We're like, oh, I'll eat this pie, it doesn't have any crap in it, okay, I'll eat it. But what else, why did she eat the pie? Tasted good.
It looked good.
It looked good. It looked just like she had made a bunch of other times. Any other thoughts?
Favorite pie.
What's that?
It probably was the favorite pie she liked.
It probably was.
A favorite pie.
Yeah, her favorite pie. Like, it was her favorite pie. That she used her favorite thing to set her up. Favorite thing set her up. In fact, she used again, see, there was truth in the lie. There's lie in the truth. That's what makes a lie so crazy. It looks like the real thing, kind of tastes like the real thing, but it's not what it's cracked up to be. It looked good, seemed good, meets my appetite, gotta have it, be more than I am. All of a sudden, that absurd thinking leads us to be crazy. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's what I wanted to say. We're at a point right now, I think, where we're seeing cultural shifts. There's something that's going on. Oh, that's all right. I think we're getting, our cable reach. One is authority versus authenticity. And I want to just define these words a little bit. There used to be a sense of authority here of, well, how do we live? How do we define how to live? Who helps us know how to live? The great theologian named Augustine, one of the things he, along with others over time, said that our authority over time at one point was God, scriptures, good traditions that we had for people who handed down reality to us, all right? Augustine basically also said he was big on desire. He said it wasn't desire that was the problem, it was disordered desires for love. Disordered desires for love. Where he would say that we either love the wrong thing or we love the right thing in the wrong way. You know, I know this is kind of crazy, but like you can either love the wrong thing or the right thing in the wrong way. Do you guys see anything possible to idolize my wife? Like, I love my wife.
Yeah.
Do you think I can idolize my wife? Because what do I make her be something she's not capable of being? And try to make her be my wife? She can't do it. People do this all the time. Well, you didn't give me what I needed. Like, as opposed to Freud, who said this: the most important desire is our libido and pleasure as a whole. Well, he said, Augustine said you need to direct this thing called desire. Freud said, no, man, don't repress desire. When you repress desire, that's what leads people to craziness. And people are always unhappy when they're told there's stuff they can't do. You guys ever see this laid out before? Everything. So, you know, here's the thing with Freud's thinking. You can hear things like this. And again, there's truth in it. But when you treat it as a whole truth, you get crazy. Like, think about this. Follow your own heart. Follow your heart. Now, is that a bad thing? Could be. Like, maybe follow your heart, maybe talk it over with Kermit too. Maybe your girl will say, dude, like, I don't, like, that is crazy thinking a little bit. You do you. You do you. Just do it. Just do it. I mean, Nike is, that's their thing. Like, just do it. Speak your truth. Speak your truth. think you said, I'm gonna speak my perspective, but I mean, is it like, is my truth all of truth, or is my truth define reality? Like, I get it, but, you know, because I know itself to be true. Oh, okay, maybe I need to think about that too. Is this ringing with you guys?
Yeah.
Think about these two quotes, and then we'll get into it. Quick shots here. Great quote. I got this one from John Mark Cohen from Book of Living Our Lives. I love this one quote. Yeah, the good life, get this, the good life has become about getting what we want, not becoming the kind of people who want truly good things. Isn't that a great quote? Speak up for a second. The good life has become about getting what we want. It's kind of like, hey, I got all the things I want in my life, yeah, but you know what? Nobody wants to be around you. Like your kids are like, who are you? Your wife after 30 years is going, I don't know you and I don't want to be around you. The good life has become about getting what we want, not becoming the kind of people who want truly good things. See, we're going to want. Listen to this last one by Edward Burke. This is powerful. My show? This is pretty deep. Your stories are like this. Men are qualified for civil liberties in exact proportion to their disposition to put moral chains upon their own appetites. What you think about this for a minute? He's basically saying civil liberties are connected with our capacity to keep our appetites, not ignoring them, but keeping them in check at some level, figuring it out. Society cannot exist unless a controlling power upon will and appetite be placed somewhere. And the less of it there is within me, within out, within you, so to speak, the more there must be without. You know, laws aren't for people who aren't going to break them. You know, you think about this. It is ordained in the eternal constitution of things that men of intemperate minds cannot be free. Their passions force their fetters. You're way more in prison than you've ever known for anything external. This is a powerful statement. What do you guys hear this guy say? Anybody?
Saying that with liberty comes responsibility.
Liberty certainly comes responsibility, and you will lose the liberty if you don't learn, and I don't learn, and to take the appetites and longings that live within us and play with them and enjoy them and direct them properly. God gave us a great world to use, but He said, you know what? You can also miss it. And the people want to never enough. They don't play with our flesh, they'll mess with our eyes and our sense of pride. So let's have some time around our tables and just enjoy a quick little hunk of time here, chattering, and then we'll come back and we'll put a little bit on this, okay? Thank you, guys. Kind of help facilitate our
Oh, yes, sorry. I'm sleepy.
What is auto advance on?
Okay, I think you're right.
Oh, but make sure that doesn't auto advance on you. 'Cause
Okay.
yeah.
I hit pause, so hopefully it'll work. Actually, this, but usually everything else, that's when it's okay. Yeah, I don't, I'm working. If you want to write this down. So I missed it.
Yeah, they took it off too fast. Get my edge on more fast.
Hey.
Stay young on his kids.
I say that all every day. I tell you what, if you want to keep that, you want to help you out.
Yeah, but then what y'all gonna have?
I still got man here.
You sure?
Yeah, I still got the main man.
Main objective? Yeah, you sure you man?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You know,
Thank you, man.
no problem, no problem.
And,
I like being called young man.
we ain't gonna tell nobody our real age. We're gonna say young man became that.
Hey, man.
You still have a lot of air. Like those legs.
It's just like going through the portal.
Yeah.
And I get pushed to the side. That's interesting.
Someone who's not doing that with just don't want to have to deal with it. Keep it up. Very we go out. Yeah. That's right. Did you come Thursday? Check it out. Oh, yeah, yeah. You're gonna be around. Plan on doing this, you know, right? Let's make a rally back together. Let's do that. I don't know what you guys got. But I want to honor our time, and this is important. This is why we're taking time on this. I hope really enjoying our 10 weeks of lives. Take a topic that's somewhat familiar to us and go about it in a way that makes it fun. Meaning that it pushes you a little bit, that you go in a different door, you go a little deeper, you think about things and maybe what you haven't before. And I think sometimes familiarity can lead us in a really bad place because we're not as wise as we could be. And I hope that this is very challenging to you, but was there anything that you guys are just talking around the tables from that was just concerns and maybe a little convicting or challenging or any questions, sir? I don't know, just anybody, you guys have minutes. Love to hear from a couple of us, I might ask one of them. Anybody? Can you just sit around the table, just knocking around here for 45 minutes or so? Value, you got after? I want to ask you which of the temptations you feel most vulnerable to. You guys have talked about some of that already. You know, for me, some of those, it just depends on the day sometimes. And I would say this.
We said
depends on
exactly
how
the
I
same
take
thing.
care of my heart. But, you know, I never feel like I'm not game, so to speak. But I do feel like there's times when I know I'm on my game with the Lord. And I'm not as wise. There's other times I can't. If I don't take care of my soul, I can cheat internally. We can all go to places you never met. Yeah, Charles, thank you.
I'm cheap, I'm lying to myself
Yeah.
in my life. Because I'm so busy on someone else's approval that I'm not me. I'm trying to, like I said, get my fiance's approval. I'm not being me. I'm not comfortable with the things, how things are going, but I want her approval. If I'm not comfortable in a conversation about drugs and women, but I sit and indulge in it, and keep indulging in it, and not telling somebody, hey, that's wrong, or sitting there just listening to it. I'm not being me. I'm indulging in these things because I want that stamp of approval. I want you to be able to tell me anything, to me relate, but I'm just being fake. I'm not living my life.
You guys hear that? Pretty normal statement, right? Bill, we want to give you something, okay? It's an approval bill, no, geez. No, it's a, something, thank you, Charles, and I just want to say this, I think we're on a journey, which all of us are, but I would say this. And it sounds cliche, but it's not, it's true in my own life, is that we change to the degree that we know you're loved. And I think if we are more loved than we know from this creation and even desire, but there are so many things that sabotage that traumatize that lie to us about that. And it really takes a while for it to sink in. There's a lot of things that are rotten for the voice of God over your life. We're going to talk about strongholds one week here. This isn't weird and crazy stuff. It's just ideas that we have worked our way into that are really deep. If you have a chance now, I'm going to just take a look at that stuff and identify it. One of the things why change is so hard, we don't know what we're trying to change. We just think we do. So this is, as hard as it is, I totally value your declaration. That's a step in the right direction, though, I will say that. Yeah. No, true. Somebody over here has something. Thank you. George.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Something you talked about in our group was the, how hard it is to find a group, that we can relate to, that, we can say, either I indulged this week, today, or I was so close, but I didn't, and you can get, that approval. Something I personally struggle with is substance abuse, and it took 9 years to even come true.
Know that your brothers and sisters, and I don't just mean about that. I mean, there's addictions all over this room. This not may not be drugs or alcohol, but it's all over this. And so, thank you for being human. Thank you for beginning to recognize that you're more than you think. And you're deeply loved and desired. Your vulnerability helped all of us see that a bit more. Amen.
My father had a huge part of it, so.
You go, that's his dad sitting right next to him. Amen. So, thank you. Yeah,
That's really strong. I share my table, past groups and everything. My struggle with drug addiction, homelessness, and suicide. And the loss of my first family, and the blessing that God gave me with my parent family. And the fact that they made that a blended family. It's from my first marriage and my wife, my parent marriage. But it comes a time when I've got to share with them, my kids, what I struggled with and what led me to those things. And the question that was up is, what leads to the lie is me being fearful and to stand on God's promises to be with me when I share these things. That I don't try to put the sugar on the crack pot and make it seem sweeter than it was, because it was the true hell that I was going through it. And what I put them through, my first family, and what my parent family going through. I'm trying to write a book to share this use like I do that with vets and NAMI and 12-step program of sharing my story with people that I don't know, but my children who I do know. Is a sense of fear. And I say fear because I don't want to lose my grandchild, my son-in-law, my daughter, because they're ashamed of dad and what dad went through. And, I've got to stand on God's promises that he'll be with me, even if that, you know, we're going to keep walking here, hoping to help him out. Part of this is what you're doing, step in that direction. You don't give me coins for money. You don't build any trust with me. Nancy, you see something about it? Yeah. Over 10 years ago, I think you asked us, who are you then? Yeah. So the average man over 50 has 2 friends. Yeah. Wow. So that really struck me. Who are you then? I can look around the room, I see a lot of them. And I'll be as transparent as you want me to be recognition and all the other things. But sometimes, you know that, there's probably 3 feet left of it. I'll go this deep with you. I won't go, I think that deep left. Exactly where it is that young man right up there. You know, there's probably, I know this is true, I mean, I believe this, I don't know if it'll be true or nothing, but I think we'll reach the Lord in glory. I've often wondered if it will be like, we were a lot worse than we thought. I mean, I thought I screwed up, but I didn't know it was that bad. It's like, wow, this is like way better than I imagined. You know, like, I know this, I think we're way worse than we know, and we're way more loving. And somehow we can bring that together. It allows us to just say, look, this is, like, I think one of the greatest joys of life is to say, look, I'm going to come to life. Like, I am not going to be the person that walks in front. I don't care what that means, I cannot do it. It takes a lot of energy, and a lot of us, now we've been lied to about our value and worth growing up. We built layers over that, we protected that, we've done crazy stuff, and the evil one, and all we're talking about is fully behind all that stuff. Then we run to the flesh, the eyes, pride, all these other things that mask it, and we become self-imprisoned. Next week, we're going to talk